Hi, this is Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of RegAlytics, with your update on this week's 34,150 regulatory alerts. We are skipping the one big beautiful bill this week because I wanted to see what was going on in the world, and RegAlytics did not disappoint. I will say generally there are less U.S. alerts in the federal level. This is not surprising at this stage, given so many agencies have been shuttered and or are operating with significantly less human power. But it does make way for the voices of other countries, which for someone like me who enjoys traveling the world and learning about other cultures is a breath of fresh air. The regulator of the week, however, is still a U.S. agency, the Federal Trade Commission. So two alerts caught my eye. First of all, the FTC chairman, Andrew Ferguson, has issued warning letters to major healthcare employers and staffing agencies urging them to review their employment agreements for unreasonable non-compete clauses. The idea is they don't want to unfairly restrict healthcare professionals' mobility, like doctors and nurses, nor do they want to limit patient choices. This is interesting because generally Trump is pro-business. So the current FTC withdrew from its previous Biden-era focus on implementing a nationwide non-compete ban. However, the new FTC is emphasizing that it will still be focusing on enforcing laws against unjustified, overbroad, or unfair non-compete agreements. The second alert that caught my eye was the FTC launching an inquiry into AI chatbots acting as companions. The FTC issued orders to 7 major tech companies like Meta, OpenAI, and Instagram to investigate how their AI chatbots might impact children and teens. They're particularly interested in understanding how the chatbots are developed, how the engagement is monetized, and how they disclose risks to users and, in some cases, the user's parents. The topic of the week is model risk management. So, if you're using machine learning or artificial intelligence in financial services, you already know there's a department because there's a focus by agencies understanding what it is your models are and how you're actively managing them. So to that end, this week, the UK Financial Conduct Authority published a feedback statement on its new artificial intelligence live testing initiative, which is allowing startups to work directly with regulatory and technical teams to develop, validate, and deploy AI systems into UK financial markets. This idea came out in April. They got 67 responses from the industry, academia, and civil society. And so this is the results of that request. And so now they're opening it up to a cohort of testers who are going to actually try to execute it. Meanwhile, the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions in Canada has released the final version of Guideline E23, which outlines expectations for managing model risks in financial institutions in Canada that are at the federal level. The guidelines are principle-based, so they don't really restrict any specific modeling methods, but they do include requirements to monitor and maintain. What else this week? So some really fun interagency activity. First, the North American Securities Administrators Association put out something for the SEC Crypto Task Force, making suggestions about what the SEC should focus on around crypto, which of course includes disclosure to investors and fraud prevention, but also a plea to maintain some sort of federal enforcement authority to seek out and shut down bad actors. Second, Colorado and Switzerland have officially become state partners under the National Guard State Partnership Program. I always find it interesting when states do things on their own. And third, the European Commission has proposed to open negotiations for a new digital trade agreement with our friends up north in Canada. And that's it this week for RegAlytics. We have the global supply chain of the world's regulatory alerts in one very easy to use place. If you need a solution for anything related to regulation, give us a call.